Welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel. Guys, it is another week and we have to talk about the Real Housewives of Miami, and they are still bringing it. We are on our second girls trip and we're in the Bahamas, and I know I said, oh, why can't they go somewhere else other than the Bahamas? But wherever they're staying at, I want to go to the Bahamas and stay there. This place was fabulous. Bahamar. Anyways, let's get into this episode of The Real Housewives of Miami. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. It is a subscribers only live chat. And don't forget to share. Sharing is caring, just not my man.
Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lady, just watch the shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Come on in, come on in. Shout out to the members of the channel. Shout out to our subscribers. And of course, shout out to our King's Guards, aka our moderators. We could not do this live recap without them. Guys, as always, thank you so much for your support, from liking the video, to sharing the video, to super chats, to Cash Apps, PayPals, things like that. Supporting our vendors. Don't forget, Rose Forever has been a wonderful sponsor during this holiday season. For Valentine's Day, don't forget, Valentine's Day is on Tuesday. You still have time. But don't forget to use the discount code KEMPIRE25 for $25 off. And these roses will last you at least a year. So be sure to check them out. More information will be available in the description of this video, along with, look, come on now. Coldest water bottle. Comes in multiple colors, multiple sizes. And of course, they don't just have water bottles, guys. They have sheets. They have ice packs, which I think I need a little ice pack. I moved my arm a little too quickly before. I even have that from them. Coldest.com just Coldest.com. Use the discount code KEMP10 for 10% off. I don't know what's going on with me, y'all. Anyways. Real Housewives of Miami. We start off this episode with Adriana and Julia in this Botanica. And you guys know I love a crystal. Look, I got crystals on my wrist. I got crystals everywhere around here. I got a black tourmaline for protection. Come on, like I like these things. However, I'm also wary of people giving me crystals and things like that as gifts, because you just don't know people's intentions. You don't know if people are jealous of you. And at the top of this episode, you literally see them saying, well, this one needs this because they are acting like this, and this one needs this because they're acting like this. I don't want a crystal from you if that's what you're putting in your intention in this gift to me. So this week, Alexia, I agree with you. Oh, I agree with Alexia this week. Doesn't mean that Alexia was right earlier in the season or these last few episodes, but I agree with her this week. And she, and this is what I love about Miami, when they start talking about their Cuban culture and what they think and believe when it comes to these botanicas and the evil eye. Weren't we just talking about another show where they were talking about the evil eye? Yes, the Real Housewives of New Jersey. If you missed our recap of the Real Housewives of New Jersey season 13 premiere episode, be sure to check that out. I just saw the ratings for it, Jersey. Not terrible, but in comparison to their previous season premiere, which was over 1 million, this one was like 851,000, which is nothing to scoff at in live viewership. It'll eventually, with people watching it on Peacock and replays, and it will be well over 1 million. But I was surprised, to be honest with you. People might be sick and tired, like I was sick and tired, recapping the episode talking about Teresa and her family drama. I was kind of over that. Not kind of, I'm still over it. But this is why I'm loving Real Housewives of Miami. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the setting. I don't know if it's because everyone is just bringing just different things. They're bringing the fashion. They're bringing the money. And I'm not one of those people that believes that these housewives have to bring money or the fashion. I saw people criticizing the Real Housewives of New Jersey confessional looks. That's Jersey. I feel like that's representative of the tri-state area's fashion sense. I'm just like, I'm ready for football on Sunday. Are you guys ready for football on Sunday? I'm ready for Robin Fenty. I'm ready for her. Let me come back and let me focus. So, at the top of this episode, we see Adriana and Julia going shopping at this Botanica, getting these. Honestly, though, y'all know I love a crystal, but some of these crystals where they start putting like little stuff in them, little names and stuff. No, I like fresh looking crystals. You know what I mean? I like stuff like this. You know what I mean? I don't need you to I don't mind, like, in the back there, you'll probably see like carved elephants. I don't mind those. I love stuff like this. Hold on, let me show you my crystals. I know this is not a crystal show. Oh, let me not show my eye. Look at this. This is labradorite. You can Google schmoogle what this is good for. And it's good for a lot of really cool things. But look how beautiful this crystal is. Okay? I'd much rather you get me something like this than, some crystal that you've carved and put peace and happiness in the middle of it. Me personally, some people like that stuff. I don't. Look, I'm going to grab an elephant. Look, this was a gift. I got this from Femme Tarot from her crystal shop, illuminaryshop.com. Look at this. This is what, sodalite? Isn't this so see this carving I don't mind. It's the cheesy, and I see a lot of crazy crystals, especially like on TikTok and things like that, where people are like I mean, get what you like. The crystals will still have power and energy and things like that. I also don't like the idea of someone buying me crystals that I'm not necessarily good with, and we haven't seen eye to eye. So we get that, but then we get a little preview of what to expect in the Bahamas, and we don't know what exactly Adriana was saying in her reference of an analogy using Frankie and his accident, but I'm already like, Adriana, you tread lightly. Because we also know for Alexia, that is very deep. That is very personal. That is very triggering. That's her son. When we talk about keeping children off of this and out of your arguments. And look, we also understand that Alexia, very much like Teresa, won't understand an analogy because some of you are still pissed about the bitch comment that Margaret made on the first episode of The Real Housewives in Jersey. And I said, that was a joke, y'all. But I also understand Teresa doesn't understand an analogy. I'm still waiting to see the full scene with Alexia and Adriana, but Alexia gets turned up in that moment. But we will have to talk about that next week. But we get a preview of that. Whoever's doing the editing of this, you guys are doing a really good job. So often we're critical and we talk about the things that we don't like. I'm with Miami. I want to talk about all the things that I do like. And what I am liking, the editing, the way that they're splitting and they're showing us what's to come. And it, mwah. Mwah. Okay. Again, Alexia, I'm liking you this episode a little bit. Alexia, very much like last season, she has a deep personal story. And as I've said before, and I'm going to say it again as a disclaimer, I don't need someone to have a storyline to be on these shows. I just need them to be interesting people. But she does have a storyline. She's had quite a few different things happen in her life over the years. And she married that man, and she had two children with that man, Peter and Frankie. Well, apparently he was in school. Her and Teresa are so much alike, and they're also Tauruses. Gosh. There's so much alike. She was in school. Teresa was in camp. Her ex-husband was in school. 5 years for conspiracy, and then another 5 years for drugs. People like that at his big age are still getting in trouble. Do you think that he will ever not be getting in trouble? But Alexia wants, because Peter and Frankie love their dad and they want to have a relationship with their dad. And she's encouraging them having a relationship with their dad. I think that's cool. But at the same time, I'm still a little concerned. You just came out of jail. And I don't need, especially Frankie, I don't need him to be in a compromising position where the father is still up with the no good antics and he's with Frankie. We don't need that. Where Frankie might be harmed or I'm like, 'cause Frankie's literally just got out of school. And I'm a strong believer that, of course, we need to give people that were incarcerated opportunities and they should have, they've served their time and we should be open to it. But it seems as if with their father, this is chronic. Remember, years ago, this man has been dealing with his issues and his crimes for years. He just got out of school. So I'm a little concerned, but he seems to love his kids. Not enough to stay out of jail, but okay. Anyways, we'll move on. So Marisol tested positive for COVID. So she's not going to be able to make it to the Bahamas trip. And I have to say, even without Marisol, it was still a fun trip. But I still was missing my Marisol and her witty commentary. But we still got some commentary at the beginning. And Marisol is desperate to be on this show. She wants to be filming. Look, I believe the story. We just talked about Anna a couple of weeks ago saying that she came up with this spiritual marriage with this man in order to be on this show. So you already know she was pissed when they said she had COVID and she couldn't go. And she says, I don't feel like I have COVID. And she feels like someone put something on her. Alexia brings that up later. All right. So she tests positive for COVID. And I'm like, why are we still, I feel like every time someone talks about COVID, especially on reality TV, they make it seem like it's the worst word in the world. I know we had a pandemic and it shut down the entire world, but why are we sort of like the word that we don't say? Maybe I should stop saying it here. Don't flag me to YouTube. Just saying. The other day, they limited ads on one of our Miami recaps. And I was just like, why? What did I say? What did we do? What were we talking about? I don't know. See, this is why I don't get these community guidelines on TikTok, on YouTube sometimes. And you wonder why we can't say certain things and why when you guys call in, I'm like, be mindful. We have a zero tolerance policy because all it takes is one. So don't be messing with my coint. Look, my coint. I kid, but no. All right. So Marisol's not going to be on the trip. Let's talk about Larsa's braids. They were so distracting this entire episode. And I felt that Larsa felt the need to make excuses during her confessional for the braids. She's like, oh, my grandparents are Moroccan, which we know. And my mom always used to wear braids as a kid. And anytime I go on these types of trips, I wear braids. First off, with all due respect, they didn't look good on her. And I know there are some people out there that are going to be like, she's appropriating. Either way, let's put that to the side. They didn't look good on her. They didn't look cute, Larsa. Just saying. Larsa doesn't know who the Golden Girls are? Larsa, you really want us to believe that you're a lot younger than you are. Girl, embrace your age. First of all, when the Golden Girls were on, I don't even think I was technically born yet, but I watched them in reruns. I think. I can't remember. When did the Golden Girls start? Anyways, I love the Golden Girls. You could watch the Golden Girls right now and laugh your face off. It is such a timeless Classic. Larsa, I don't believe that you don't know who the Golden Girls are. I really don't believe that you don't. And if you don't, if you like, what do you guys think that was? Do you think she didn't want to admit her age and that's what she was doing? Or you really believe she didn't know what the Golden Girls are? Larsa, if you don't know what the Golden Girls are, I implore you, go watch it. You will laugh your face off. I think she would enjoy it. I can watch the Golden Girls right now and kiki and laugh. All right, I'm jumped far ahead. I was looking at Larsa's braids and her excuses. Geardy does also get braids for this trip, and she says in response to the producer's question, she's like, it was pretty ballsy of her to wear those braids. Pretty ballsy, but they're ugly. They weren't cute, Larsa. They weren't cute. All right. What I do love about these ladies, and we know the ladies on this franchise handle room assignments very differently. Miami has been in the past, well, last season wasn't too great because remember Lisa wanted her own room. She didn't want sharing the room, so that was pretty bad. But Dr. Nicole makes sure that the ladies have beautiful rooms. And this is the only reason why I want to go to the Bahamas, because I want to stay at this resort. Because they have all kinds of stuff on this resort. They have a water park. I don't care about that. Even though it looked like fun. I don't really care about that, though. It's not important to me. But the amenities, the rooms were gorgeous. In Julia and Adriana's room, they had their own little movie theater. I would never leave that room. Alexia had her own beautiful balcony. But Adriana and Julia had a balcony, too. They had beautiful views of the water. I want to go to the Bahamas now and stay at Bahamar. I think that's what it's called. If it's not, it's okay, y'all. It's all right. I'll be there to support with my coins. Oh, no. That. It looks like a beautiful hotel, but the presidential suite is 2 floors. And because Lisa is going through what she's going through, and last season she had that whole situation, she's like, I cannot share a room. And now she's going to get she's going to get the primary suite because, she's going through what she's going through. She's not there just yet. She's coming separately from the group, but we do see her, and we're going to play a game of where we're not going to mention Lenny. And, oh, damn. That's the game. Oh, while they're there, anytime someone mentions Lenny, you got to take a shot. All right. They also have butlers. So we have that one butler that's following them around the entire resort. I probably would find that a little annoying. I'd probably be like, sir, you can stay back at the room. We don't need you here. But it's also a large group of people, so that's a little different. One person, it's not a big deal. But when you have a group of ladies, some ladies are going to want drinks. Some ladies need to know where things are. So I like the option if I had a group of people with me. But for me personally, I mean, that's cute for the room. But sir, you can stay here. I'm gonna go. Look, leave me alone. I was really more fascinated by Adriana and Julia's room because I was like, that looks like a cute little movie theater area. It's not huge, but it's cute. It's just for you and your boo, and you can sit and watch a movie. I know what you're thinking. You're on vacation. Why are you sitting in the room watching movies? Because sometimes when you're on vacation, you need to just relax. Also, there's not a lot to do in the Bahamas. I've been a couple times. Just saying. That's the same, though, for a lot of these islands. There's not a lot to do besides beach and tan and drink. And I don't drink. And I don't really love the beach. Go figure. So the ladies go to the water park, and that's where we get the Golden Girls versus the ladies that want to get into the thing. So Kiki, Geardy, Alexia, and Dr. Nicole go on that water thing. That's the thing. I'm not the type of I would never describe myself as being adventurous, especially Tauruses, but I'm also willing. Very much like Alexia. She's like, I'm not necessarily the most adventurous, but I'll do it. Like if someone wants me to go do something, I'll do it. I'll go on the roller coasters. I can't even, I'm a swimmer. I'll do it. As long as the safety precautions are there, I'll do it. But I'm not necessarily I'm not a thrill seeker. Some people, they have to go. Not me. I haven't bungee jumped, but I said if I'm going to bungee jump, I'm going to do it in a fabulous way. I'm not going to be bungee jumping off in New Jersey. I'm going to be bungee jumping off of a waterfall in Africa. Bucket list. Not really a bucket list because I said I'm not a thrill seeker. As a part of my larger tour, oh, that's a part of it? Let's do it. I'm sure. Why is this about me? Because this is my recap. All right. All right. I know you guys don't mind. All right. So the Golden Girls are staying back. And of course, they're talking about Lisa and what Lisa's going through, even though Dr. Nicole is like, we don't have to talk about it if she doesn't want to talk about it. But Adriana, she's going through what she's gone through. So she's trying to be supportive to Lisa and what Lisa's going through. And she's like, oh, I've been through what you've been through. When these men want their new shiny model and they just sort of throw you away. What happened with her last husband? Do we know? Do we have any word on the street? Anyone in the comment section in the live chat? Do we know what exactly happened with her and that man that we saw on the Real Housewives of Miami with her? He seemed like a sweet guy, but he's still a man. Just saying. So he seemed like a sweet guy, but I wonder, did he cheat on her? Did he find a new shiny model? The way she made it seemed like he did. Speaking of the men that she's dating, you remember the apparent married guy, but he's not really married? Apparently, after Nicole's engagement party and the interaction with Alexia, she hasn't heard from him. Damn. Oh, Adriana. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. So we have the water park adventures. The fun girls, not the Golden Girls, were, they did the water slide and then they were doing the surf thing. That I might not do because that looks like you could really hurt yourself. Like you could hit your head on your surfboard. I probably wouldn't do that. And that was also when I did a cruise. I don't know where I was going. And they had that on the cruise. I never did it, though. I never did it. I was just like, I don't know. It didn't entice me. If someone else was doing it and they were like, let's do it together, I probably would do it. But I'm not a thrill seeker. Just saying. So the ladies have a dinner. The food looks good. And I don't really love seafood like that. But the food looks good. It's a beautiful ambiance. The girls are having a good time. They had a good day. And now they're having a good time. Even Dr. Nicole. Dr. Nicole's commentary is top tier. She's really getting into her housewives bag. And she talks about how Marisol's not there in her confessionals. And she's like, I'm okay with that. Because the last time we were with Marisol and last time Marisol was playing these games, they were not fun and came from left field. And she said she's getting along with everybody, even though she's not really interacting with Larsa. And mind you, they're sitting right next to each other. But everyone's loving Dr. Nicole. And I'm here for it. And she knows how to throw a party. Just saying. A party and hosting a situation. I can appreciate that. And she's smart and she's a doctor. Just saying. So here's the thing. At this dinner, the whole gift giving from the gifts from the Botanica that Julia had, she's giving out to the women. And Alexia's like, oh, you went to the Botanica? Because in Cuban, people that go to Botanica are there to resolve personal issues, not to give things to people. So she's a little wary of this, but she also brings up that Marisol believes that someone has put some evil eye on Marisol. Marisol in her confessional, she's like, I've been feeling things. I don't feel my mother's presence anymore. And I've been gaining weight and weird things are happening. And now I'm not involved in this trip. Do you think? Look, and Alexia even says, I believe that sometimes unintentionally people can put the evil eye on you. And I can see that from Adriana. Adriana kind of gives me Bruja energy. Anyone else? Because she's so bitter, because she's so hateful and jealous towards Alexia. Don't forget, in this season, episode 1, when they were, was it episode 1? It probably wasn't episode 1. It's when they went to Key West. They went to Key West. Oh, I know why I felt like it was episode 1, because remember they released 4 episodes at the top of the season. And they went to Key West and Todd surprised her with a beautiful watch. And Adriana, we talked about this. Adriana made that comment about the watch and was like, Adriana, why are you being so hateful? Alexia could buy this watch herself, but it was a gift from her new husband. Why are you being so hateful? Jealousy is a hell of a drug. Stay away. I don't want to be around anyone that's jealous of me. Oh, hell no. No, 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 no. Or envious. No. Bec- Think bad things happen when someone's like that. Even if they're not thinking it themselves, I couldn't be around it. Just saying. So, so Alexia is not, she's a little wary of these gifts. So they're giving out these gifts. But we remember, if you see that scene from the top, these gifts that she wanted to give to Marisol and to Alexia, they were commenting on the bad things that they were doing. So they're giving these gifts with, I feel, bad intentions. Just saying. But Alexia brings up what Marisol said about feeling someone put a hex on her, and now Julia's looking at her like this becomes a big hot topic the next day because Julia's like, is she calling me like a bruja? Does she feel like I'm putting a juju on them? And it made me interested though because whose idea was it for them to go? Was it Julia's idea or was it Adriana's idea to go to the Botanica? Julia made it seem like she goes to the Botanica a lot. So I just assumed it was her idea. But I'm wondering now. I'm wondering. So one of the fun things that they do, because they were going to play a card game, they pull out the cards, so they're asking each other the question. One of the questions was, whose porn search would be the most interesting, and everyone thought it would be Adriana. And then this big conversation of what's DP, double the pleasure, according to Adriana. But Adriana says, I'm pretty tame, like a little bit thing of like DP. And then Julia's like, what's DP? What's DP? I have to say this game was light, it was fun, it wasn't shady like Marisol's shady game in the Hamptons last season, which we could appreciate for entertainment value. But this was fun. They were having a good time. These questions didn't go left. Adriana at one point imitates Julia, which was pretty. At first, I was like, "What is she doing?" And then when Julia started talking, I was like, "Oh." And then when you flash back to the dinner at the birthday celebration at the Versace mansion, I was like, "Oh, this is all making sense. This is all making sense." So the next day. Oh wait. There was something else that I want to make. Adriana says that. I already talked about that. We'll move on. Because she mentioned that the guy has been MIA since Nicole's party during her conversations, and Alexia makes a comment. She was like, "It just wasn't meant to be," because Alexia refuses to really apologize and own that she was wrong, and that maybe she hurt Adriana's feelings in that moment. But she's like, no, it's just, this is why I can't ride with you. Oh, maybe it's just, it just wasn't meant to be. And I agree with that on some sense, but we don't need to hear that from you, who's probably the reason why this guy's MIA. So the next day, the ladies are doing flamingo yoga. Okay, I've never heard of flamingo yoga. I don't understand the purpose of having flamingo yoga. What exactly are the flamingos supposed to do? And Alexia, I'm not surprised that you have a fear of birds, because I wouldn't want these big old birds around me, because I don't know what they will do. I watch too many of those random TikToks where birds attack and things like that. So I understand, Alexia. I'm like, and I just don't get the point. I know with the goat yoga, they let the goats go on your body, and then it's supposed to be like calming. I don't get that either. Let's be honest. Look. What was the point of the flamingo yoga? I wish someone would have explained why flamingo yoga, why they go together. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them from afar. They're very beautiful to look at, but not while we're trying to do yoga. So the ladies start, gossiping. Okay. So the other ladies, Larsa, Lisa, Julia and Adriana are getting massages, and Larsa and Julia, they've never really had issues, so they talk about that. Like, we never really had issues, always really me and Adriana. But then they start talking about what Alexia said about these gifts from the Botanica, and that leads to Adriana talking about, like, I don't know what the issues are with me and Alexia because I used to be really close with Alexia and Marisol, and I really haven't seen them. They don't really know what my life is. And Alexia is saying that my life is a mystery. It's a mystery because you're not there. You're not there to support me. Honestly, though, Adriana, for all of us, and probably for the producers, and part of the reason why you're a friend of and not a full-time housewife, is your life does seem like a mystery. Anyone else? It does feel like a mystery. I like Adriana, but what else is going on with you? Like, what is happening? And I feel like they would have given you a full-time position if there was something happening or you opening up about what went down in these last few years. Because I feel like we should be talking about your divorce. Like, what exactly happened? I don't know. But she feels like Alexia and Marisol team up against her. They end up having a conversation towards the end of this episode before our girl Marisol appears with what do they call those things? A bullhorn? Something? A loudspeaker? I don't know. But we'll get back to that. So while the ladies are getting massages, they're talking about the gifts, and Lisa was like, she comes in and she talks about how her son is having fits and things like that, and at one point says, "Oh, I don't want to ever get married," and now she's realizing that he's reacting to the whole situation. I'm gonna just say this, and we love Lisa, and Lenny is trash. We say this every episode. Lenny, you're trash. However, I do think that she's laying it on thick about the children and the reaction. We know children do have fits and reactions when things like this are happening in the house. But for your son to say, "I don't want to ever get married," I mean, I think it's possible, but my BS detector was going off. Anyone else? Sometimes I have these thoughts and I'm like, And then a lot of the times you guys say, "No, I had the feeling too." I feel like she's laying it on thick. She knows this is being filmed. She knows that she needs to make it seem like Lenny is the worst man. Lisa, you don't have to add any icing to this. You don't have to put a cherry on top. The mistress is the cherry on top. We already knew that Lenny was trash. We were wondering when you would wake up and see it for yourself. Look, we were just waiting. And here you are. All right. What else did I want to mention in regards to this episode? So the ladies, the last scene that we get is the ladies having this group lunch. Julia pulls Geardy to the side. We found out that Russell is fixed, so they can't have any more kids. But you remember last season, Julia and Geardy bonded over that they both lost children, and then we found out during the reunion, Julia's like that crazy story of how she lost her child was possibly murdered. Yeah, Google Schmoogle if you didn't know the story. So, but her and Geardy bonded over losing their children. Well, so she wanted to pull Geardy to the side to tell her, we're thinking about adopting. We're in the process of doing adopting and things like that. So that was a nice little sweet moment. And that was the moment where Adriana confronted Alexia, and Adriana already knew because Alexia was apologizing. So she was like, "Oh, okay. So Larsa told you what we were talking about during our massages." So, Adriana decides to use anytime first of all, I feel as if you and Marisol were very close to me. You were in my wedding and things have changed since then. And Alexia's like, "Well, I feel like your friendship with Julia takes precedence and it sort of like alienates us from being as close." Well, Adriana then says that, "Well, I feel as if when you and Marisol are together, you guys are like sort of tag team and are very condescending and mean." And I'm adding all of this to the story. I'm basically laying out what she's trying to say. Adriana's trying to say. And as she's talking about Marisol arrives and is like, "Hello, bitches. I'm here." And I was happy. I was happy. Marisol's here. We needed her. I was about to say, I was like, is she not going to be here for the entire trip? Like, I mean, I enjoyed the ladies, but I still wanted some Marisol in the mix. She's like our cherry on top. Just saying. But that's how the episode ends. So we still already know that this trip to the Bahamas is all about Adriana and her beefs apparently with Alexia. Alexia, no matter how you feel about Alexia, she's been at the center of a lot of drama from the top of the season until now. We're on episode 13. So no matter how we feel about her, homegirl is working. Look, she's working. Guys, what do you think of the episode? Have you rated the episode? How would you rate the episode from 1 to 10? I probably would give this episode a solid 9. Because we didn't have Marisol, so I can't give it a 10. We got a little bit of Marisol, but not a lot of Marisol. I wanted more. What else did I... Who else? Kiki... Anyone else notice that Kiki... There were certain moments that the camera caught Kiki and she looked bored, disconnected. More than usual. Usually she's very much involved in everything that's going on. And it could just be the way they edited the things. But she just seemed a little disconnected this particular episode, which you never know. Sometimes there's a bigger story happening that the editors decide we're not going to share. And we're like, Sidebar, I was just watching a fellow YouTuber's content, the Real Housewives Edit, I believe her YouTube channel is. And she sort of breaks down these moments, lighting, edits, the music, and things like that. So I thought that was really cool. So be sure to check her out as well. But these are the things that I like to understand and to kind of break down. And I noticed that with Kiki, like I said before, I feel as if something bigger could have been happening at that moment. Maybe something was happening in her life and they just left it out because she's not a main housewife. You just never know. We have to remember when we're talking about these shows, when we get so passionate about these shows, they're edited to tell a specific story, to make you feel a certain way. We have to remember that. So I know people are invested. I know Bravo wants you to be invested because that brings people in, that brings viewers, that brings loyalty. But keep that in mind. It's an edited show. You're getting a glimpse of these people. Guys, I want to know how you rate this episode. I want to make sure that you've liked this video because liking this video will allow other content creators, very much like the Real Housewives Edit, to start to show up on your algorithm. So shout out to my fellow content creators and everyone that's reviewing the Real Housewives of Miami. They will start to show up. Like the video. And be sure to check out everything in the description, including more information on the Rose Forever, the coldest water bottle, our podcast, Kempire Radio. A new episode came out this past week, so be sure to check that out. And the visual version on the Kempire Radio YouTube channel. And the Kempire Shorts channel. If you haven't checked that out, that's where you're getting under a minute recaps, pop culture news. And be sure to check out some of the stories that we posted this past week. It was a busy week of stories. So let's continue this conversation about the Real Housewives of Miami in the comment section. Replay crew, how would you rate this episode? Where are you watching from? And what did you think about Miami so far and this girls trip? Did you miss Marisol? Let's have this conversation there. Let's get out of here with some music, guys. You know what I love to do. We got to do some music before we get out of here. Come on now.